Thanks so much, everyone, and welcome back. It's always great to connect with you. Finally learning what it means to stop. Your path to liberation. That sounds so refreshing. I'm going to say it again. Finally learning what it means to stop. Your true path to liberation. This is big today, folks. This is big because if you allow your heart and your mind to really step inside of this message with me, I believe scores of people will be liberated upon contact with this message. You know, when I was a child, I would get frustrated, confused, hurt about any variety of things. And my grandfather would always look at me first and in a loving, compassionate way. He would say, what I want you to do is just stop for now. Just stop for now. And he would just give me instruction on doing nothing else but stopping. And I would stop, and not because he told me to, but because I couldn't believe what he was saying to me while I was in full swing of mood, emotion, and God knows what else. And back then, stopping seemed too quiet. It seemed too easy. And to an extent, it still does. And that said, simply stopping is some of the most powerful and truly high quality advice I've ever received. And here's the thing. Here's the big news. Stopping resolves a great many issues. Simply stopping resolves a great many life issues, relationship issues, spiritual issues. I want to explain in this message what it means to stop and when it's appropriate to stop. Sometimes it's appropriate to stop in our relationship. Sometimes it's appropriate to stop while our work is concerned. Sometimes it's appropriate to stop where our emotions and thoughts are concerned. Stopping means making a conscious decision to pull your emotional, your intellectual, and your spiritual energy out of a person, place, thing, or idea. Yes, indeed, you simply stop. And it looks like this. Intellectually, I give myself permission to stop thinking about this and to stop ruminating on this. Emotionally, I give myself permission to simply stop feeling this. Spiritually, I give myself permission to stop being energetically drained by this. Stopping simply means respecting a giant boundary that you've put in place for yourself. It's the stop sign. The same way when you're driving and you see a stop sign, why do you stop? Why do you really stop when you see the red light flashing in an intersection? You stop because you have been programmed to realize if I cross over this stop sign without being aware, there are ramifications. There can be danger. See, we can do the same for ourselves. You don't have to keep going. You don't have to keep going in these spirals that are getting you nowhere. I remember when I really deeply understood the concept of simply stopping. I was in a relationship and it was just so clear. There were 3 or 4 things that had happened where it was revealed to me this individual just does not have my best interest at heart. And I thought, I could be hurt about it. I could be frustrated. I could be upset about it. Why not, Sheila? Why not just stop? Like, why not just stop at all? And sometimes you'll hear me say stop, and you confuse that with, well, are you being mean? Are you being rude? No. I wasn't mean. I wasn't rude. I just stopped. I took my emotional energy out. I took my intellectual energy out. And you stopping does not necessarily mean the individual or the circumstance stops. Indeed, this individual, some calls came through, whatever. I was never mean. I just took all emotion or intellect out of it. And eventually the whole thing stopped. I literally just stopped, and it resolved. The situation and the circumstance resolves itself, because energy, when it's corrected and it's brought into alignment, it can't do anything but settle favorably. Where people run into trouble, we're so conditioned to believe we always have to be doing something. There has to be something mentally we're doing, physically we have to have busy hands. That's not true. That's not true. Oftentimes, the most beautiful thing, the appropriate thing that you can do is to literally stop. And often when you do, the silence can be a bit intimidating. But right behind that intimidation, and rather quickly, comes a peace. It comes a peace, because literally what you've done is, I'm going to liberate myself. I'm just going to liberate myself. It's heartbreaking for me. I've observed myself at a time, and I observed people searching for something to chew on, something to make sense of it. Oftentimes, when things just don't make sense, when there's degradation or dark influence, or there's other things at play, you're not going to be able to intellectually and emotionally put it into a neat, tidy bow. That's where you stop. That is where you have the power to simply stop. And when I stop, I always call in. Say, you know what, Father, I'm going to stop, because this is beyond me. But you know what? I turn it over. I turn it over to you. And when it gets turned over, I don't want the keys back. I don't want the keys back. You got this one. You got this one. So oftentimes we scramble, and we want to find the meeting, and we want to restack blocks and rearrange things in the room. But then we don't look at the possibility, wait a minute. I'm up here in this room. Maybe this isn't where I need to be. Maybe it's not where I need to be, period. And stopping, the beauty of it is you extract all of that vital energy, and you can channel it. You can channel it into worthy pursuits, worthy causes, worthy ideas. But here's the second thing. With stopping, no one can do that for you. That is a deeply intimate and personal decision. It's not something that you need to profess or proclaim to anyone out loud. I'm telling you, you simply sit over a cup of coffee or a glass of lemonade, and you say, you know what? It's just time to stop. It's time to stop. Well, Sheila, what if I've made the wrong decision? Well, let me tell you something. Cream always rises to the top. Cream always rises to the top. You cannot give something over to the hand of God and make the wrong decision. It is impossible. Literally what you're doing is saying, I'm walking out of this room, okay? If you choose to rearrange the furniture and this is for me, when all that is done, tap me on my shoulder and I'll come back into the room. But for now, I turn it over to you, Lord. I will allow you to be the interior decorator, the designer of my life. Thank you so much. Again, I invite you to really scan all areas of your life where you're leaking energy, losing energy. You've been bamming your head against the wall. Oftentimes, those are unequally yoked relationships. Sometimes it can just be thought patterns that are draining you, ideas, concepts, circumstances. I invite you to ask yourself, where can I just put this stop sign up as a boundary of respect for my life, for my sanity? Thank you so much. This has been Inspirational Shorts with Sheila, and I will connect with you soon.